Here's a modern coin from Israel. This is a 10 new shekelim, dated 1995 on our calendar. It actually says 5755. We have a palm tree here with 7 branches, a couple of baskets next to it. Along the right of this, in Hebrew, it translates to "for the redemption of Zion." We flip this one over. Unfortunately, it has a tiny little bit of corrosion on it, but this coin was made starting this year in 1995 and has been made as most recently as 2017. This specific year, it was made at the Utrecht Mint in the Netherlands. And in foreign exchange value, this coin is worth $2.74 in United States money. So pretty good foreign exchange value right here. By the way, it's called the 10 new shekelim. A shekelim is now plural for shekel. Today's video is going to be made up of a couple of different things. I decided to add a couple of things together in one video since there wouldn't be enough material to make 2 separate videos here. First of all the coins, including the Israeli coin and everything else on the screen right here, is from a dealer that I met at the December 2024 coin show in Gallatin, Tennessee. And then after we go through those coins, there's a bag of tokens from a token dealer that we're going to go through. Now, the coins in this video, I paid $3 for that Israeli coin and everything in this pile. He had them 4 for $1, like a lot of people have their foreign bins. I got a couple of them free because I also bought some banknotes from the guy, and they rounded down on the price. So let's jump back into this. Here is a 6pence from Ireland, featuring the Irish wolfhound. Irish coins pretty much mirrored the British system of pence and shillings and pounds, and then converted over to a decimal system when the British did. On the back here, we have the look that we see on pretty much every Irish coin, with the harp and the lyre, and 1968 for the date here. This coin is catalog KM13A. So this is one that actually has varieties. During this year, and most of the years they made this, it was copper nickel, but when they first made it for about 3 years, it was pure nickel. And then there's also an older version where they had a little bit of a change to it, where they had more of the Irish Gaelic on here. We're going to move to a coin from New Zealand, despite all of the luster that's still in this coin. This actually doesn't look for all that much. But this is a halfpenny, so here's another country that followed the British and had their system changed to decimal. They may have gotten there a couple of years sooner, but this one is going to have Queen Elizabeth on it, as you'd imagine. It's a halfpenny from 1964. Catalog number on this one is KM23.2, and there are a couple of varieties here. So the variety here, and you'll see a lot of these, this variety on several different places from this original portrait, and it has to do with what they call a shoulder strap right here, so that you can see that there's kind of a line that goes over her shoulder. The guide calls it a shoulder strap, but I think it's better to call it a fold in the dress. But this version with the shoulder strap or fold in the dress was made in 1956 to 1965. But the first 3 years of Queen Elizabeth, it was without, so there was no line right here, and it was just smooth all the way through there. So this coin is catalog KM23.2. Do you recognize where this laureate head portrait is from? It just so happened a couple of years ago, I was looking on eBay and I saw this coin and I didn't recognize it. I was curious where it was from. And as it turns out, after doing some research, I figured it out, and I did have it, but I just actually didn't recognize it at the time. This is going to be a coin from Portugal. It's going to be a 25 escudos. They made these from 1980 to 86, and it's actually an increased size version of the original, which they made in 1977 and 78. So kind of rare that they go through and they increase the size of the coin over time, but they did it here. Catalog number KM610. Here is a coin from Morocco. They call it Maroc, but this was after they were no longer controlled by the French. However, they still used their name of a currency, 20 francs on here, and these coins are still minted in Paris. So there is a Parisian privy mark right here. The Parisian privy mark is kind of the cornucopia right here, but right above it is the mint master mark of a wing at this time. So I found this 20 francs coin a few times over the years, and it seems like I always find it in pretty decent condition. It's dated on the Arabic calendar of 1371. On our calendar, that becomes 1952. This was during the reign of Muhammad V. This coin is made out of aluminum bronze. And the catalog number is Y number 50. And this coin books for $2. So now let's fast forward 50 years in the future. We have a Moroccan coin from the year 2002. And so I just find this wild. I'll find that 70-year-old coin usually in good shape, and then I'll find a modern coin that looks really well worn. Now, there's not a lot of details on this anyway, but it's just weird that this coin from 2002 shows up in very fine condition. And I found some other coins from the 2000s from Morocco that are well worn or even worse than this. As it turns out, I didn't have this specific coin, but I have some others from about the same time. This was a one-year coin. This one is actually going to be Mohammed VI, was on the portrait on the front. It has a value of 10 dirhams. Their calendar 1423, our calendar 2002. The catalog number is Y110. There are going to be stars on the edge. There are 6 stars. I don't know if that's related to Muhammad VI or if that has anything to do with it at all. But this is still a legal tender, and in foreign exchange value, this coin has a foreign exchange value in American money of 99 cents. One thing that I thought was interesting was I mentioned how I always find this pretty well worn for a newer coin. The catalog price guide of this only shows it in MS63 condition at $10 and then does not fill out the row for anything. Doesn't even fill it out for MS60. And so I don't know what to go with for a very fine value on here. So I went over to Namibia where they said it's probably worth about $1. So I'll go with that. Now we're going to move over to the Philippines with a fairly recent coin. This one's dated 2012, and I think it's the last year that they made this one. This one has 2 busts on it, so it has Apolinario Mabini and also Andres Bonifacio on this side. And again, for being 13 years old, it's pretty beaten up, but it is a bimetallic coin. And so a lot of these modern coins of this era are going to have the year 1993 on this side, but that's not the year it was made. And there was a note on here, your catalog's not going to reflect this, but there are 3 different versions of this coin based on when it was made, and it has to deal with the sun that appears behind the mountains up here. So this one is considered Die 3, which was the most recent version. So the lowest sun ray doesn't extend as far into the mountain as some of the earlier ones, and so it has to do with the thickness. And there's other differences between the varieties, but that's something to look for. This 10 peso is going to be KM278. So now we're going to transition into the newest design of the Philippines coins, and I really like this set. This one is one of the smaller denominations they make. They have 3 coins that are below the value of a peso. This one is a 25 centimo, and on this side we have what you would see on their flags. They've got the sun surrounded by 3 stars on this side. We've got our date of 2019 right here. I think that is our Central Bank of the Philippines mint mark right there. And then a larger logo for the Central Bank of the Philippines to the right of the line. Most of this on the left of here is going to feature the the Catman flower. So this is their current currency style, although I don't believe they've minted these since 2019. I don't know if that means they're withdrawn from circulation and they're just going with larger value coins, or if they just haven't had the need to print up more of them. But I didn't know they came, I didn't even realize they had the 25, but they go even smaller than that. We've got a 5 centimo right here. This side is almost identical to the last one, but a lot smaller. The date is 2018. It still has the sun and 3 stars. 5 centimo. We flip this one over. We still have the central bank logo on the right. And then on the left, this time, they call it the Kapal Baging flower. I've heard this is also called the crown flower. So this one is catalog KM 298. They also make a 1 centimo, so even smaller currency. We're going to move to a harder to find currency here, and hadn't had a lot of changes over the year. This one's going to be from Namibia. We've got the crest on here, and I'm told that there are a lot of varieties to the crest here with the spacing of the flag and shield and things like that, the position of the wings and whatnot. But this is the 10 cents coin, dated 2002. Catalog number is KM2. This is called a camel thorn tree, and then there is a portion of a stylized sun there on the left. So they've made these starting in 1993 and as most recently as 2023. In foreign exchange value, this is worth half of a United States cent. You ever see this design? It's going to be a coin of Pakistan. This coin's dated 1969. We flip it over. It's going to be a 10 paisa coin. Catalog number here is KM31. And this one is made out of copper nickel. They made these from 1969 to 1974. This is the reduced size version. So there was originally a version of the coin that was a little bit bigger. And then, starting in 75, they made these out of aluminum with a different design. So here's a quick quiz for you. What is the currency of Samoa? I didn't know. I had to look it up. Now, it's drawn like the United States dollar sign, but they call it a tala. So this is a 1 tala coin from 1984. Featuring Chief Tanu Mafili II. So this is the circulating tala coin. They had plenty of commemoratives that were non-circulating. I don't think it was the first, I think it was the second one. Now, my catalog says there is a copper nickel version of this that's been reported but not confirmed. So I don't know if modern price guides still say that or not, but this one is KM57. Next, we're going to Ecuador, where we have this 10 sucres coin. Has a braille at the bottom. And then the figure on the left is from the Valdivia culture. This is their Venus. And then over here we have the arms of Ecuador, and it's dated 1988. So one thing that my catalog pointed out, it didn't have a picture of both versions, but there are 2 versions of this coin. This one is the first one. It's KM 92.1. That was only made in 1988, and then the second version was made in 1991. And so it's called the small arms version. And so when I heard that, I got my other coin from 1991. I was looking, are the arms on Venus here any different in size? No, that's not the arms they're referring to. They're referring to the coat of arms and also the size of the text. So this is the small arms version. So in 1991, pretty much most everything in the back here is going to appear a little bit larger on this coin. So KM 92.1. Now this next one's a little bit of a mystery to me. It's going to be from Nicaragua, and it says Cinco centavos de Cordoba. So this is 5 cents of a Cordoba. It's dated 1934, and it's KM12. And it's not silver, by the way. When I flip it over, it looks like this. And so I picked it up thinking that I probably had it, but also I was like, what's going on here? Did someone plate this coin, but just on one side? And of course, yeah, you could plate it by not just dipping it in something, but let's say brushing something on one side. But the more I look at it, I don't really think this is plated, because it's if it were plated, it would be plated down deep in the crevices here, and then someone would have had to gone back through and either repaint the highlights or clean the paint off the highlights or something like that. So what I think is happening, this is the picture of this coin that I saw didn't appear to be this way on the side, but I wonder if it's like the clad American coins where you can look at the side and actually see a layer of copper on it, and then the layer of nickel for the American copper nickel coins. A lot of places aren't like that, but when you look closely on here, you can see it looks copper on the edge with a thin layer of nickel above it on either side. The composition of this coin is 75% copper and 25% nickel. And so I wonder, when this coin was made, if the layer of nickel was really, really thin on this side of the coin, where the top, the details appear to be made out of nickel, but everything below that got stamped into nickel. Does that make sense? Is that kind of thing possible, or would the minting process just push the nickel down further where you would still see nickel on here? Or do you think maybe I'm wrong, maybe it actually is painted on here? But I'm kind of curious what that is. These were made at the Philadelphia Mint, and I do wonder about the book price on these. It seems awfully inflated to me. Now, there is a low mintage of 200,000 on this, but this is one of the cheaper versions of this coin. They say that this coin in very fine condition is worth $5. Numista does not agree with that. The catalog goes on to say that if you found this uncirculated MS60, that it would book for $60. And I just sort of find that hard to believe. But what do you think? We've got some tokens coming up next, but this is the last coin. And I found this 1806 British halfpenny. And in a quarter bin, I'm not going to pass up on a 200-year-old coin, even if it is as well-worn and corroded as this one. But you can see pretty good details for a coin this old. I mean, I usually find this in rough shape, but decent details here. I'm holding it at an angle a little bit to get a good bit of light, and it's kind of losing its focus. But we've got George III. This coin was only made in 1806. And let's flip it over. Got the seated Britannia here. Hard to say what this would be worth. The catalog says if it's fine, then it would be worth $5. I'm not going to say that. The catalog number on this one is KM662. As it turns out, same coin show, I bought I don't know if I've posted it yet, but there's a video coming out called I Bought an Entire Collection for $7. And in that video, I got essentially the same coin. That one was a little bit rougher on the details, but had no corrosion to it. So imagine that, me getting two 1806 halfpennies at the same show. So that is the end of the coins. I paid $3 for everything that we just looked at. But I also bought spent more money on banknotes with the same guy. The total book value of everything that we just looked at was $17.50. So really nice stuff in here. And about 2 or 3 of them are going in my personal collection. Some will be upgrades, and some of the others will be things that I list for sale. So there's also a token dealer there, and this dealer has some tokens that he prices at $1. and other tokens that he has in a 4 for $1 bin. And I'll look through his stuff about every other time, and I'll find a little bit that I'll find interesting. We're going to start with this right here. So if you were a stamp collector, maybe the most notorious stamp in American history is depicted here. It was a 24-cent airmail postage stamp from over 100 years ago, where the plane on it was inadvertently printed upside down. And so it is known as the inverted Jenny stamp. So this is some kind of token which is meant to replicate that in kind of a one color but 3D feel to it. The question is, where did this come from? It's not an actual token. This was glued to something and then picked off of it. So I'm going to make a wild guess of where this came from. I couldn't find any proof of it, but the philatelists, the stamp collectors out there, will oftentimes go out and have first day covers where they know that a specific stamp is going to be released, so they will get a fancy envelope to put the new stamp on it, have it canceled somewhere in particular. And sometimes those envelopes can be pretty fancy. And so I never saw this one, but I saw where people would have the first day covers with an actual plasticky looking replica of the inverted Jenny. And then I think it was the year of 2012 where the United States post office made a modern $2 stamp that looked like the old inverted Jenny. So they were doing a first day cover of it. If you like foreign coins, which you probably do if you're still listening here, the Solomon Islands made a gold 1/100th of an ounce coin in 2022 with the inverted Jenny on it. So it's one of those kind of a pointless, just for collector issues, but that's something out there that you'll find. Our next token, I also am interested in offbeat tourist attractions, and one of the most famous in America up in the northern part of the Midwest would be Wall Drug in the town of Wall, South Dakota. Now, if you go on road trips up in that part of the country, they will have signs everywhere. And specifically on this token, they are highlighting a nearby national park of the Badlands. I guess here they call it a national monument. And if you're outside of America, it's called the Badlands because it would be kind of a difficult place to live. It's mostly rocks through there. It wouldn't be a very inhabitable area. So this is, I couldn't find a date on it, but this one's made out of brass. But there's also steel-plated versions of this coin. So there's another tourist attraction, one that I'm a little bit more familiar with, and I'm really happy to find this one. It's a place called the Hillbilly Village, located in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg are the nearest big tourist towns where I live in the state of Tennessee. And this is a tourist attraction that closed down probably 15 years ago. I went one time in 2006, and so it didn't last much longer than that. But it was one of the old school tourist attractions where they played up the hillbilly nature of Tennesseans in the mountains, so mountain folk kind of person. So we've got a mountain folk here with his shotgun, and then on this side they just call it a good luck souvenir. And so, yeah, this one's an actual tourist attraction I've been to that's not around anymore. So we're going to move on to a token for a coin show, and this is the 20th anniversary of the American Numismatic Association show by their publication, featuring their publication Coin World. So it's got a globe on this side. I guess Sydney, Ohio, I'm guessing that's where they're publishing this coin. But this is a large dollar or crown-sized aluminum coin. So we flip it over and it highlights the American Numismatic Association convention, which took place in the summer of 1980 in Cincinnati, Ohio. And this medallion, I guess you could call it, features one of Cincinnati's biggest landmarks, the Tyler Davidson Fountain. And so that's a place that I've seen, so I think that was neat to be able to pick up this token. So now we're going to move on to a couple of tokens made by the Sunoco gas station. This is from the Sunoco Presidential Coin Series. These were made in 2000. I've got coin number 3 and coin number 8. And so that no one accuses me of being on any one particular political party, I've got the, maybe I should put the left on the left and the right on the right. So I've got the probably one of the most prominent Democrats from the series and one of the most prominent Republicans from this series. So these were made in the year 2000, and it was a set of the 10 most recent U.S. presidents. So in 2000, we'd be working from Bill Clinton working back to Harry Truman. So each of them, the previous 10, each had their own medallion here. I guess they figured that you go back to, let's say, Chester Arthur, and no one would be interested in those. And what you would do is you would get if you got a fill up, you could walk inside and they would give you a free token, like one of these. Or if you couldn't wait to fill up 10 times, you could purchase a complete set that came in a nice presentation cardboard piece that had a little one paragraph on each president. So Sunoco. And so they were calling it the presidents from 1950 to 2000. So our next coin, or I should say medallion here, was made by the Swedish Heritage Collector's Coin. Oddly enough, this is not made using their language. It's using English, but on this side, pretty much all we have is the outline of the shape of Sweden. And so they made several different in this series. It was made by the Swedish Numismatic Society. And we flipped this one over, and Stadshuset, I can't pronounce that, Stadshuset, is essentially the Stockholm City Hall. And I think internationally this is best known as the place where every year the Nobel Prize has their awards ceremony. Every year. That City Hall was produced in 1923, and if you've seen, a lot of Swedish coins have the 3 crown logo, which appears underneath the date on here. Now, one thing I did find looking online, the metal used here, they actually call it alpaca silver. And I've heard similar terms, but I've never heard the term alpaca silver before. You may have heard of nickel silver. What that means is it's the color of silver, it's not actually containing the metal silver. So if you ever see the term nickel silver, alpaca silver, German silver, it's not silver, it's all base metal. And so sometimes people do that just to trick you. They might do the same thing with Nordic gold or something like that. It's not actually gold, it's just the color. And then our final token that we're going to show off here is going to come from the High Roller Casino from Las Vegas. It's an actual casino, but it's not an actual poker chip that would have ever been worth $5,000. So this one was purely a souvenir. You would have to think that something that was literally worth $5,000 would have a lot better way of proving that it was something that's real and not just something that you could buy from the gift shop. And of course, they poked a hole in it so you could wear it in a necklace or something like that. But I always think these look colorful, and I'm just glad that I can get something like this for a quarter and not have to pay, well, let's say $5,000 for it. So I hope you like the tokens as well as the coins. And so I've got more coins from the same show, but other videos coming up. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.